Stop Throwing My Country to the Wind by Samin Babahani. By Justin Slifer, Spencer Roberts, and Cheyenne Whitaker. The title of this poem represents the anger that the author feels for people talking bad about her country. She speaks of this because of the hatred that the author feels towards violence and hatred. The violence of the people will continue and will develop a monster of mankind. Stop Throwing My Country to the Wind begins with the author threatening the people of other countries to end their hatefulness or else they will retaliate. There is a shift of threats of action to a call for a stop of action because the violence and hatred is creating a monster of mankind. The last shift goes from a stop of action to saying that everyone is equal and no threats or violence will ever be able to hurt Samin. Symbolism that is shown throughout the poem is the elephant that falls will not rise. The elephant represents the pride the other person feels over the author because the other feels that he is above the author. Diction that is shown throughout the poem is pride has swollen your head and your faith has grown blind. The diction in this stanza shows the effect of the overpowered thinking that has on the outsider. The pride made the outsider feel better than Samin in her country. Saying that the outsider's faith has grown blind is because of the way he looks down on Samin. The theme of Stop Throwing My Country to the Wind is that respect must be given to everyone no matter who they are because you have not experienced what they have. The title of our song is Separate Ways by Journey, and it was made in 1982. Separate Ways is the title of our song and it relates to the band members who are going through family issues due to their time on tour. The title of the poem can relate to the separate ways of the narrator's opinion of her country to how the outsider views her country. Journey's overall meaning in Separate Ways is that the band members' spouses will never realize how much they mean to them, even though they are on tour. Once they do realize what they missed out on, they will regret breaking up the relationship. The connection between Separate Ways and Stop Throwing My Country to the Wind is that both the author and musician believe that you can't judge anything before you experience their way of life. Our current event is Death to America and Down to Israel. Our poem originated in Iran, and the current event that we found was of Iranians chanting Death to America and Down to Israel. This current event relates to our poem because the article speaks of one country talking down on others, and Samin states that there is no need for violence and hatred because it will only create a monster of mankind. In this case, the Iranians are shouting the hate towards the other countries and showing no respect of them, and the poem states that everyone deserves respect until you've been in their shoes. Our household items, a fly swatter, and the fly swatter represents how Samin feels trapped underneath the hatred and violence of the outsider as a fly feels trapped under a fly swatter. The mouthwash represents what the outsider needs because they have turned into a babbling loudmouth, and the author feels that they need to stop the hatred and violence before the monster is created. The Book of Stamps, it relates to this poem because this stamp symbolizes the peace that the author craves, and the envelope that the stamp is placed upon symbolizes the hatred and violence that they need to put to rest.